So yeah, this is Abhishek here, belonging to the 2019 IPS batch, currently in training at the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy. So here I'm about to discuss with you about the strategy for prelims, number one, and number two, if time permits, we'll discuss some aspects of mains and what is happening with so much of uncertainties around. So let us see things are going. But the major question which all aspirants are facing now is whether we'll have when will we have prelims, number one, and number two, if at all prelims is there, should I attend it or not, given so much uncertainties around. So I'd say these are things which are not in our control, and to be honest, it is not even in UPSC's control now whether when to hold prelims or when to hold it. Yes, let us wait for 20th. UPSC has been very transparent in its decisions. So it told it will give you 30 days of notice before it is going to announce the schedule. So let's wait for that things. So this should not stop you from preparations. You should continue your preparations as you keep doing every day, and you should keep giving a lot of mock tests. So that I'll start with I'll just share my strategy today. Generally what happens is, even I have listened to a lot of toppers talks before, even when I was preparing. So everyone will have their own strengths and weaknesses. It is up to you to know which is your strength and which is your weakness, and you can take the toppers ideas and opinions, and you have to see whether this strategy works out for you or not. So that is the way even I'm going to approach this. I'll share my strategy. There are some things which might work out for you, and there are many things which might not work out for you, because everyone are unique with the way they grasp things and things like that. So I'll share my strategy, and if you have any questions, keep posting them. I'll try to answer them towards the end. So I'll take like about half an hour up to 10:30. I'll give my this thing, and then we'll go for all the questions. The house will be open for questions for another 45 minutes. So this is how we're going to go for today. So first thing is, the first question people ask is, should I keep preparing for current affairs? Because some feel that UPSC might have already set the question paper. So should I prepare for this month's newspaper or not? Whether there's exam or not, newspaper is the main part and parcel of any civil service aspirant. So you need to keep reading the newspaper. The advantage of the newspapers of this times is, you have 90% of the newspaper covering the same thing about COVID only. So when it is only about COVID, you know which there'll be a lot of repetitive news. There's many editorial articles keep coming about COVID strategies, how should government implement, how should the economy be taken forward. And there are a lot of repetitive ones, which means you can skip a lot of articles and read only selected ones. So you need to spend 1 hour every day for newspaper, which is a must. You should never avoid it. Whether there's prelims or no prelims, I'd suggest you reading the newspaper at least 1 week till the prelims is over, because even if the questions are not coming, it will be useful for your mains in some way or the other. So please keep continuing the habit of reading newspaper and never stop reading. And what to study? So the current affairs sources which I generally used to see are, first is of course the Hindu paper, and beyond Hindu I used to see Indian Express. I just share the screen and show you how Indian Express comes up with beautiful articles. If you see this Indian Express, you have this section called explained section. So if you open the Indian Express explained section, you have a lot of things where they explain you things in detail. Like they go to the background of the story. So generally, when what we do is, when we see a news, we tend to take we used to Google what is there and everything. So see here, what is the International Day of Light celebrated? They explain it to you in clear numbers, so you need not go. So we had a news about cyclones. See here, how was tropical cyclones named? So then everything now courts are going to go online in their functioning. So they have talked about it. So everything is like, it is a ready-made reference for you. So this can be used for your preparations, and I also used to go for PIB. I used to check Press Information Bureau website every night, so that you get authenticated government related policy documents. the various schemes which the government comes out. For example, in the past 4-5 days, the finance ministry has come out with a lot of schemes, and which we should be aware of. Which the ready reference again is the PIB website, where the ministry releases its press releases. So that will be available in PIB, which you can prepare. What difference does it make from the newspapers is that it gives you authentic information. It gives the information which we need. If you take the newspapers, they'll be talking not only about the scheme, they'll be talking about the opinions of various people. The opinions are not much important from the prelims perspective. From the prelims perspective, it is all about the schemes, which ministry is doing it, what are the salient features of the scheme. So this can be easily accessed through the PIB website. So I suggest everyone, at least before you sleep, just go to PIB website and just go through 2-3 links and make notes of it. You have to make lots of notes in order to make sure that you have a hold over current affairs. Current affairs is not only about making notes, it is also about revising those notes at least 2 to 3 months before you do it. What I used to do is, I used to do a lot of group study with my friends. So we used to discuss the current affairs in groups. We used to take month-wise, and every 2 or 3 days we all used to gather and we used to discuss the current affairs which has happened for a particular month. We'll exchange our ideas about this thing, and which might be important for prelims, which might not be important for prelims. So in this way, you can actually keep yourself motivated, you can help your other friends, and also you also prepare a lot. So this is how I went about my current affairs preparation. So you can try that strategy. If it works out for you, you can do it. And given the lockdown, I don't think you can gather around, but there are a lot of possibilities. You can use WhatsApp, you can use any other technologies to make sure that you stay focused on your preparations. And next, the one more thing which everyone is facing is the uncertainty, the anxiety because of the uncertainty revolving around the situation right now. As I already said, these are things which are not in our control. So just worrying about it is going to give us a lot of mental stress. It's just going to drain our energy. So please don't worry about anything that's happening. Keep yourself diverted. Do a lot of hobbies. What you need to, what I used to do is I did not prepare more than 5 to 6 hours a day. So that worked out for me because I used to study. I had this tendency to grasp things a lot. So you can also make sure that you compartmentalize your day of studies, like morning 2 hours, then evening 2 hours, and night 2 hours, or you can increase it according to your potential. And this may not work out for every day. Every day you won't be following the same schedule. There'll be some good days, some bad days. It happens for every aspirant. And I suggest you is just do maximum compliance of the plans you make. It is not possible to make compliance every day, but you can comply with what you plan to the maximum possible. So this would be my suggestion. Next, how to approach mock tests. So the mock tests, you have to give mock tests because mock tests give you direction in your preparation. For example, some might not know whether I'm preparing in the right track. Am I on the right track, or should I prepare more? Mock tests give you an opportunity to assess yourself, and it gives you direction in your this. For example, for the next week, if I have a test on geography, I'll focus on geography for this week. If the next day it will be economy, means I'll focus on economy. At the end of the day, when you finish the whole mock test series, you will get a confidence that I have some idea about every part of the syllabus. That's what mock tests do to you. They make you read every part of the syllabus to a maximum extent. And number two, it is not only about attending mock tests, it is also about focusing on how the mock test should go. Time management. So time management is a very critical part, especially in prelims. I've seen aspirants who have rushed up at the end and have not completed questions. You have to read the question paper at least thrice during the prelims. So I'll share my strategy of how I used to approach the prelims paper for GS first. First, I'll take the question paper and go through questions where I know the answer for sure shot. You will have like that. Any serious aspirant will have at least 30 to 35 questions in that range. Those 30 to 35 questions you need to attend. By the time I would have completed the first reading of all the 100 questions, I'll mark those questions for which I have no idea, or I need some more time to think and eliminate answers. So first I used to do that. Next, for the second round, I'll go for questions for which I would have been able to zero in on 2 options or 3 options. And this is where your luck and your lateral knowledge comes into picture. So we'll see some questions from previous year's papers, and we'll see how we can actually eliminate answers and learn. So I'll again share my screen and I'll go to last year's, this is 2019 Civil Service Prelims paper. You will have direct questions like this. Take question number 3 here. The Global Competitiveness Report is published by. We know the answer for this because we have read it. If you have not read it, another thing, you have to go through all the reports which come in the newspaper. There are ready-made compilations available for such things, and you can actually go through it and find the answers for such things. Next, if you go for questions like last year's paper also had a lot of surprises. If you see, there were a lot of questions from medieval India. Every year prelims throws you some surprises, so please be ready for it. We had a lot of questions from ancient and medieval India, which generally was not the case in the previous papers. So you have to be ready for those surprises, but at the same time, you should not get bogged down by those surprises. You should always keep continuing your preparations without giving a heed to such things. For example, you take the other question here. Atal Innovation Mission is set up under. We all know the answer again here. It is a direct question, simple question. So we should find those questions for which we know the answer directly, and then take up the first round of reading. Then the second round of reading comes, where you can do some elimination works. I'll talk about elimination works in a short while. Then the third round is where you need to resist your temptation. What happens is that after attending certain point of, like, you would have attended like probably 60 questions, then you will think I have not attended enough, so let me answer some more, and we'll start doing guessworks in the questions. So what happens, that is where the catch is, that you have a lot of negative marks. So when you go for simple random guessworks, what happens is that you lose the marks you've already gained. The probability of getting those answers right is very, very less. So I'd say the range at which you should answer the questions, it should be around 70 to 85. It depends on the toughness of the question paper. For example, last prelims I attended around 76 questions. The 2018 prelims I attended around 80 questions. So it depends on the toughness of the paper, and never go for questions which you don't even have an idea. It is like taking risk and losing the marks which you have already gained. It will only lead to you not making it to the list. I know a lot of people who did not make it to the list with 0.6 marks, 0.9 marks, 1 mark, less than 1 mark. There are hundreds of people who have not made it to the mains because they lost it by just 1 mark margin. So that is where you should resist your temptation, because the exam hall gives you that atmosphere where even we try to answer every question out of energy, out of the nervousness over there, because that's what examination hall does to you. So you should not do that. I'll say resist that such temptations. When you don't even have an idea about an answer, please don't go for it. Then if you have not looked at the previous year question papers, please make sure that you start doing it right from today. Get a question bank. For at least the past 20 years, the question papers should be gone through. We should know how UPSC is asking, the way UPSC is asking you questions. If we do not understand the way UPSC is asking questions, we will not be able to clear this. UPSC has this habit of asking the basics, the current affairs, and the knowledge part. When the basics part, sometimes we make mistakes. You know why? Because we don't revise properly. We need to do at least 2 to 3 cycles of revision before we go for the prelims exam. For example, if it's 1 month before, you should start your revision for this thing. You should not be reading new things for the previous 1 month. It should all be about revising what you have already learned, because in that examination atmosphere, we won't be able to recall things. It won't come to our primary memory when we want something, when we seek answer for something. It will not be available in our memory, and we become tensed, and the whole exam goes for a very bad scenario. So don't do that. Please do a lot of revision, whatever you have learned. So previous year question papers give you that idea. And mock tests, don't just attend the mock tests. After the mock test is over, take some 2 to 3 hours, analyze where you have done the mistakes and what are the correct answers, and make notes about those questions for which you had no idea in the mock test. For example, there will be a question in geography which you did not know, but you came to know now. Take a separate sheet of paper, note that question and the answer. This will be useful when you do the revision for that particular subject. This is how I used to do. Every question paper institute set with an objective to prepare students for that main prelims. So you will have at least 20 to 30 questions for which you won't have any idea. The thing is, you have to learn from those questions rather than just losing it out. It is not just about attending 100 and 150 mock tests. If you attend just 20 to 25 papers also, ensure that you do a nice follow-up. Like take the question paper, the solution key which the institutes come up with, take the solutions, see where you have done a mistake, see how else could you have approached this question to get this question right. If you do these simple techniques, you can improve your accuracy. Initially your accuracy might be 50 to 60%, you can improve it to 70 to 80% easily if you do this aspect every day. So I'd suggest, since we do not know how things are going to go, every 3 days once take one paper and do on your own. And the institutes also keep conducting regular prelims exams, mock tests. Take those exams also. Apart from that, you can go for many resources which are available online. You can take one prelims previous year paper itself and try and solve it. You can take last year's paper and solve, because your current affairs will be very much you will have such knowledge of current affairs which you could use for the previous year's paper. So you can try that aspect. So number of questions to attend, and next I'll go for some techniques which could be used in answering some few prelims questions. UPSC actually gives you a lot of basic questions for which you need to have conceptual understanding. If you don't have conceptual understanding, especially in subjects like polity, geography, economy, you cannot clear prelims, because there they test your understanding. They don't test your knowledge. UPSC does not come up with a question called this article is about what. For example, it's a polity question. They'll not say ask you article 21 is about what. That is not the way they're going to ask you. They are going to ask you, let me show a few examples of how understanding plays a key role for your this thing. If you have conceptual understanding, take this question, question number 20. On 21st June, the sun. We know that this 21st June is summer equinox. If we just know it is just summer equinox, we would not be able to answer this question. You should know what are the features that happen in the summer equinox. For example, the sun is vertically overhead the Tropic of Cancer during the summer equinox. I mean the summer solstice. So this means we need to know which answers should be eliminated. So sun shines vertically at the Tropic of Capricorn, eliminated, because this happens during the winter solstice. Sun shines vertically overhead at the noon on the equator. This again happens in an equinox scenario. Does not set below the horizon at Antarctic Circle. This again happens during the winter solstice. So we should know this is the answer. Here we need clear conceptual understanding of things. And I'll go for another question. Let's take question number 44 again. I'm going for geography again. Why are dewdrops not formed on a cloudy night? We know why dewdrops are not formed on a for a cloudy night to happen. We should have clear skies, cloudless, and moderate weather. If we know these understanding only, you can do this. Now we'll go for some elimination techniques which can be followed. Take question number 29. Take question number 29 here. It is an environment question. They ask about the wildlife and the naturally found. Where is this wildlife naturally found? For me, I have an idea that Mashi, I've learned it somewhere that it was in Kaveri River. I'm sure that Airavati dolphin is not in the Chambal River, because Airavati dolphin is found in the eastern part of the country. That is in the Odisha or Bangladesh or the Myanmar region. So I try to eliminate an option which contains 2. Option 2, when I see there are 3 options with option 2. When I eliminate these 3, I get the answer. It's C, 1 and 3. So when we know the techniques of elimination correctly, we can answer a lot of questions. You should not, what many aspirants do is, they just see the question and they think they don't have any idea about the question and they go for the next question. But if you go into the question and just spend a minute or 2 in that question, you'll actually be able to answer questions for which you had very less idea. Take question number 49. Again, it's about polity. The Parliament Prevention of Disqualification Act exempts several posts from disqualification on the grounds of office of profit. We know this answer is right. The above mentioned act was amended 5 times. This is a very factual thing which many of them may not know. The term office of profit is well defined in the Constitution of India. We all very clearly know that the office of profit and its definition has always been in use because it has not been very well clearly defined. So when I take, there are 3 options with option 3. When I eliminate all the 3 options, the only option I'm left with is 1 and 2. So if you use this aspect, you can actually eliminate a lot of answers and do at least 10 to 15 questions in every paper will have such questions, for which you need to follow this elimination technique. Next, we'll see another aspect of how we can answer prelims questions. Take question number 28. Some species of turtles are herbivorous, some species of fish are herbivorous, some species of marine mammals are herbivorous, some species of snakes are viviparous. Here, look at the word some, which means they have not said all species of turtles are herbivorous. We know it could be a possibility. Some species of snakes are, it could be a possibility. So when we have such questions, when you have this this thing called some, you can actually be a bit sure. When you have words like only, always, often and all, you need to be a bit careful whether to select those. When you have this thing, these are all direct giveaways. You should actually put all the answers as 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if you don't know whether it's correct or not, these questions sometimes are very like you can go for it for very sure. So these are the few things which you can follow when you answer your prelims questions. Studying in detail is very important when you take current affairs. As I said, the schemes, various schemes, you can go for IA Explain, PIB, go for the micro details for every new aspect. Now we have come up with, if we take COVID, there's a rapid test, there's a PCR test, and they're coming up with different tests. What you should know is the difference between what is a rapid test, what is a PCR test, what is meant by an antibody, what is meant by coronavirus, why it is named corona, why is it named COVID, who names it. These are the very minute details which you should go. These are the things they test you in your this thing. Prelims is all about selecting the curious candidates, the candidates who look for more information about things. That doesn't mean you have to go for an overall underground overall research into what is COVID, who named it, what is genetics. And you're not going to papers, research papers and study. I'm just telling, just go through 2-3 articles where newspapers come up with beautiful explanations. As I said, IA Explain is a very good source for such things. So please don't miss the details. Prelims is all about details. You need to know, go deeper into the subject and know things, but not too deep that you go and spend hours and hours together for that one particular topic. Please don't do that mistake, else you will not be able to cover the syllabus fully. Then mock exams give you an opportunity to identify your weakness. You will identify your areas of weakness. For example, myself being a science student, I used to be very much easy with subjects like geography, economy, and sometimes polity also. But history was my major weak area because I'm not used to remembering a lot of facts. So what I had to do is I had to spend extra time in history, especially in modern India. Prelims, they ask you really tough questions. They give you only 1 or 2 easy questions. History has a lot of tough questions, according to my perception. They ask you a lot of facts. It is not easy to remember a lot of facts. So what you have to do in such cases is you need to spend a lot of time where you are weak in your specific subjects. If you do that, you can overcome your weakness very easily. Then I'll share the various sources which I used to do for this thing. If you take environment, there's this beautiful website by I'll share my screen again. If you take environment, I've done Indian Express. If you take environment, you just type WII-NVIS. You have this nice website by the Ministry of Environment. So if you go to this website, you can see the wildlife and protected areas, sites of conservation importance. If you go to this, it's not opening. Yeah. So sites of, you have the list of tiger reserves, the elephant reserves, the biosphere reserves, the Ramsar wetlands, the natural world heritage sites, all things you have. So you need to know how to use the online resources effectively. Here you find everything. If you take tiger reserves, they'll have the list of all tiger reserves in the various states, and they also have the overall map. These are all ready-made sources which you have to use. Coming to map reading is a very important aspect in as far as prelims is concerned. You need to spend at least 20 to 25 minutes 2 months before prelims every day in maps. What I used to do is I used to take state specific state maps, and then I used to go through all the features. What are the major physical features in it? What are the major what to say, the rivers in it, the various tributaries of the river, the wildlife sanctuaries, the national parks, the tiger reserves, what animal is famous in that particular state. These are the aspects I used to take some half an hour to 20 minutes. It gives you a lot of interest also. When we take, we learn a lot about our country in this process by taking maps, and map is also very graphical. So you will have a lot of interest to learn things. So you have to spend a lot of time on maps. And as far as world map is concerned, UPSC generally sticks to the current affairs part to ask you questions. So what we have to do is the ready-made source. Again, you can go to YouTube and type. If you just go to YouTube and type places in news UPSC 2020, you have a lot of people have discussed about it. You can spend about an hour, make notes on it, and you can use these notes again and again till you gain confidence. So that is what you have to do when you come to map reading. What I used, map is something which is like, it will not be there in your memory for a long time. So till the last minute, you have to go through maps to remember things. It might help you in some way or the other. That is how you have to remember. It has helped me in my previous 2 prelims. I've given 4 prelims. So it has helped me in my previous 2 prelims. The only thing I used to do a lot in the last 1 week is I focus more on my weak areas. I used to study a lot of modern India and ancient India. And I used to do a lot of map reading. Because I know map reading, there'll be at least 4-5 questions, and I should be able to answer at least 2 or 3 questions from that map. I should not miss it, because these are all easy questions which you can answer. So that's this thing, map questions. Then economy and polity, as I said before, please go and understand the root of the concepts. If you're not able to understand the concepts, either ask your seniors for guidance or go for YouTube videos. We have amazing explanations given by a lot of people regarding every article. For example, impeachment of CJI was in news the previous year. So then there was a question on impeachment on in 2019 prelims. So for that, you need to know the procedure very clearly. If you're not able to understand the procedure, go for YouTube videos or go for any good articles written by various experts on it, and you'll be able to get a clear understanding of such things. So this year you can talk about a lot of parliamentary procedures. For example, now the parliament doesn't know whether the parliamentary committees do not know how to meet and deliberate on their functioning. Now they are the parliament is exploring whether we can go for online committee meetings. Now there again they say the one clause which is hitting them is the deliberations within a parliamentary committee should remain confidential. So this is acting as a major hindrance from conducting online meetings regarding parliamentary committees. So these are the details which you should know. Where is this confidentiality clause there? It is in the rules of procedure. What is rules of procedure? Who frames it? And these are the details which you should go through and understand. Next, science and technology is one major challenge area for anyone. I'll say science and technology, UPSC doesn't go expect a scientist out of you. It just wants you to understand the evolution of various technologies that are happening, number one. And number two, basic sciences. These are the things you should be you can have a good hold. You just need to be sure of all the school books. You will have the basics right for you. And then you have to know the basic concepts. I again will go for 2019 prelims paper. If you take question number 75. They test you very basic things. They don't test you on whether you are an expert or not. See here, they have asked a question about LTE and voice over LTE. We all know it is regarding 4G technology. So LTE is commonly marked as 3G and Volt is commonly marked as advanced 3G. This both, it's wrong because LTE is about 4G. Now LTE is data only technology and Volt is voice only technology. Again, this is wrong because we know the difference between LTE and voice over LTE is you can use data and voice combined together. So this if you take is actually a very basic question they have asked. We need not know what is LTE, what is the technology behind it. They have not asked it. They have just asked the use case of it. So it is a very basic question that they have asked. Let us discuss another question where you can gain clarity about it. So if you take 91, they have asked about difference between augmented reality and virtual reality. So they have just actually jumbled the answer, explanation in these questions. If you go through these questions, please note down these questions for the purpose of time paucity. I'm not taking much this time on discussing these questions. These questions will give you an idea that it is not about knowing the details of it, but actually it is about knowing the basics of things. Again, if you go for question number 97, they have asked about black holes. Gravitational waves has always been in news for the past 3-4 years. Again, they have asked about what is gravitational wave, what is these black holes all about? Because we had this question because Stephen Hawking passed away 2 years back. So he was a man who was very much interested in this research area of black holes. So that is why this question has come. So if you're able to connect things and learn, you will be able to know a lot of things. Again, you need not go for extensive articles. You need to know what this person has done. For example, a particular person has passed away, a particular person has done some achievement. You need to just know what this person has done, what is his research about. If it is about a particular subject, the research, you need to know the basics of that research and not nothing beyond that. You need to just know, have a normal idea about things. And as far as international issues are concerned, go for only current affairs. They ask you about what is the last year there was a question about general data protection rules. Who has come up with this concept called general data protection? European Union. That is how they'll go for. They'll ask the basics. You need to know only the current affairs for it. I'll not advise you to go for much sources and learn deep for international affairs as far as prelims is concerned. Then state-wise map reading, world map reading. So yeah, so tackling the negative marks. So this is what I wanted to discuss overall with respect to prelims. So now I am open for any questions. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Please share your book list. Okay, I did not follow anything which is different from what others prescribe you. So you can actually go for all the standard books which everyone says. Polity, I went for only Lakshmikant. Economy, I went for my class notes, and I've heard notes like for basics you can go for Shankar Ganesh. They'll teach you the basics of it, or Ramesh Singh, your choice. And then environment, again I went for Shankar's environment material. It was very extensive. And then for geography, I went only for NCRTs and Goche Leong. That's it. History, Spectrum for modern India, ancient India and all, I went for NCRT books. So these are the basic books which any topper will tell you. So how to take notes from NCRT. I'm not able to open this. 1 minute. Whether arrears in UG concern in UPSC? Yes, you need to have a qualified degree. When you are having an arrear, you are not qualified to even write UPSC. So arrears, if you are having arrears, please make sure that you clear it as soon as possible. Is there a website for reading reports? Yes, reports. Go for the particular websites. For example, you have the standard report which every aspirant will tell you to read as far as mains is concerned. You mean reports? Okay, reports and the publications. You mean a lot of institutes come up with compilations regarding who compiled this particular report. So if you just Google, you'll get it. Anyone comes up with this, any institute, if you just do an online search, you'll get it. With respect to bills being introduced, should I read about it from the day it is introduced in the parliament or once it is passed by the parliament? I suggest just know, you don't need to go into the details of it. When the cabinet decides to introduce a bill, just go through what are the major aspects of the bill. What are this thing? You can use this in your main answer, that this bill is being brought in as a solution for this problem. For example, surrogacy has been a major issue. Surrogacy bill. Surrogacy is still a bill, but you can still talk about it as a solution to the problem. Then, so for CA, PT 365 compilation, okay, I'll come to this monthly compilations and yearly compilations which institutes come about. This will not help you in your preparation for current affairs because you are forced to learn all the current affairs that have happened over a month or over a year from a single booklet at the last end of the minute. This will never help you to get a hold on the current affairs. I'd say current affairs is an everyday affair. You have to do it every day. Monthly compilations are just a reference for you to just know that at the end of the month, if you go through those monthly compilations, you get an idea that I've covered this news or not. Beyond that, I don't see I don't vouch for this, because you will not be able to cover news articles extensively if you go for compilation. Please go for the newspaper. Newspaper is the original source and will always be the original source for your preparations. These monthly compilations and all, they are just for your reference work. You can go for, if you don't have time to go into the details of it, monthly compilations can be used to understand more about. But I'll say, what I'll suggest is every day spend 1 to 2 hours on current affairs alone. This will be a major help for you. What kept you motivated throughout the preparation? How to keep yourself motivated? This is the major challenge which any civil service aspirant will face, because you need to go through the same routine again and again throughout a year, same process again and again throughout a year, and you'll be reading the same things. That's the most worst part of it. You'll not be reading any new things as far as the static subjects are concerned. I learned the same history for 5 years, and it was one of the most boring parts to do in any preparation work. So in that case, what keeps you motivated is diversify your preparation. On a given day, don't take a particular subject and sit for on it for hours and hours. Have 2 subjects to prepare for a day. One stronger subject in which you're strong, and one subject in which you're weak. So this can actually help you balance a day. For example, I'll go for history and economy. For me, economy was very easy because I used to understand economic concepts very easily. So I'll go for economy and history together. A polity again, polity and geography, important aspects of it. And go for diverse sources when you prepare for things like environment. When you're going to learn about the status of the animals or about the various biosphere reserves or something, go for the map. That time it will, the graphical memory, when you see graphical things, it will be registered in your memory a lot. Then going for words and sentences. So this will actually help you. And what kept me motivated? I never compromised on my motivation. I never compromised on my social life. I used to attend all my family functions. I used to meet my friends regularly every 1 or 2 days. Please, for the sake of preparation, it doesn't mean you have to sacrifice everything in your life and be. At the end of the day, even after you finish your get into the service, you will need some people around to celebrate with you, or you need someone. This is not the end of the journey. Clearing the exam is not the end of the journey. So it is about having a very good social life. Go for movies, watch series, I'll say. But you need to regulate yourself rather than getting addicted to things. Rather than spending a lot of time, you need to balance your different aspects. I used to go for a lot of movies. I used to spend a lot of time with my friends and cousins. I used to watch a lot of TV. So this is not the way you should go. What motivates you is you should be doing your regular activities with increased time for your preparation. You should not drown yourself in preparation because you are in this UPSC. This is one of the toughest exams in the world. No, no, no. UPSC is actually, if you know the right strategies, you can clear it with with ease, I'll say. You need to do a lot of smart work in it. So any other questions? I don't see. 30 days plan for prelims 2020. Looks like, okay. What 30 days plan? Okay, we'll consider 2 scenarios. May 20 UPSC is meeting. They say we'll have the exam by June end, which means you should be in perfectly prelims mode only. You should learn, you should allocate. I'll say you can go through 2 cycles of revision in these 30 days. That you can spend 1 day for economy, 2 days for history, 2 days for geography, 2 days for polity. And when I say these days, every day you should learn some current affairs. You should learn like 2 months of current affairs per day. So in this cycle, you can complete in 10 to 12 days, you can complete 1 cycle of revision. You should go for another cycle of revision. Why should you go for revision, and what should you do actually in revision? You should not take and see Article 21, right to life and liberty. What are the details which I might tend to forget? What are the list of derived rights from it? These are the minute details which you might tend to forget. We all know Article 21 is about right to life and liberty, but that is not what you should do in revision. Revision is about refreshing your memory. It is about learning the aspects which may tend to forget. There was a question about participatory notes. Everyone had learned it as P notes, P notes. So they got confused whether the answer is participatory notes or promissory notes. So some of my friends, they marked it as promissory notes in game. So why did this happen is because they did not do proper revision. Revision is not about just going through the pages. It's about finding the right things which you might tend to forget, and that you have to decide on your own. So the next question. Yes, anyone you have a doubt, please type it, Mr. Kishore. How to take notes out of newspapers, sir? Any article which is of, say, even for editorial, which is of for some 500 words, you can reduce it to actually 5 to 6 sentences. You can see what aspect they are trying to cover, what are the various recommendations they make, and what is the conclusion they come to. So we'll take, probably we can take one newspaper article, and we can do some notes also. How can you go for it? I'll go for an explained article. Okay. We'll take a good. Okay. Cabinet may soon plan to amend the Essential Commodities Act. So here, you need to know what is the Essential Commodities Act. So as circulate, this part is not enough for us, whether they're going to pass it as an ordinance or not. So after amendment, the commodities such as cereals, this part is important. Stock limit will be imposed under very exceptional circumstances, famine with surge in prices. So stock limits are going to be imposed only in emergency situations. This is the first point you should know. And this article does not have the articles which are planning to deregulate. There'll be and this thing about the various commodities they are planning to deregulate. It is about cereals, edible oils, oil seeds, potato. These are the things they have talked about in that article. So just 2 points you need to know in a particular article. So you need to know which thing you should take notes. When you read, you will itself know whether this will be asked or this may not be asked. My optional was public administration, Arti. How government schemes can be prepared. That's another good website for it. I'll show you that website. It's called Vikaspedia. Apart from this website, the site is slow. I'm sorry for it. So apart from this Vikaspedia, again institutes come up with compilations called government schemes and various acts. You can go through that also for a ready reference. The server of them is really slow. I'm sorry for that. So you just note down the website, vikaspedia.in. So this is their website. Yes, it came. So you can select the language you want and use this website. All the schemes will be there. It will be categorized. What is agriculture, health, education, social welfare, energy, e-governance, all the schemes, government of India schemes are there. So everything you can go. This is the ready reference for preparing for government schemes. What's been your daily schedule? I already said. Okay, I'll share it again. I'll start my day with newspaper for 2 hours a day. Then morning session I'll go for something which I'll also prepare for optionals. Okay, coming to the preparation, I say scenario one was if prelims happens by June and you have to be in perfectly prelims mode. If there is not going to be a prelims for the next 2 months, I suggest you to start doing some mains answer writing also. Because the next question that comes is whether UPSC will not give us adequate time between prelims and mains. I feel that UPSC will consider giving you that 3 months gap which they normally give, but we should be prepared for anything because UPSC is known for its unpredictability every year after year. So write one answer or two answers every day. I suggest you make sure that you have all your materials ready, especially for optionals. Optionals, you need to know what you have to study and just know which are the aspects you are yet to cover for your optionals. Please finish it off because the 3 months between prelims and mains you cannot do anything much with respect to reading new things. I mean, like writing a lot of answers, finding out where are your faults in answer writing. So for the static parts, I'll tell you to go for preparations right now. Spend like an hour a day. You can do optional one day. You can do for history one day. You can do for static parts like ethics. Ethics is more about writing than reading. So please go through the reference for all these is previous year question papers. How they have asked questions in mains. Because ultimately, if you clear mains, UPSC is not about clearing prelims alone. Mains is what is going to determine whether you're going to get into the service, what service you're going to get. So you have to prepare on those lines. So I'll prepare for my optional for 2 hours. Then the other 2 hours I'll go for GS. Then probably an hour before I sleep, I'll do PIB, then some prelims aspects, some map related questions. So this is how my general schedule used to be. How to analyze newspaper with particular content? I already discussed it now, Geeta. So please give some tips to complete Indian polity. And how should we revise duration? Indian polity, you need to cover the whole of Lakshmikant. It depends on the initial parts only will be very slowly going, very boring. Dry part is the fundamental rights, the fundamental duties, the DPSP, the citizenship articles. These are the very dry parts. When it comes to executive, legislature, these are the things which we come across every day in the newspaper. So you'll be able to complete it. And when you do parliament, side by side, finish of state legislature also. So many of the things get repeated. When you do president, make sure you finish governor also. When you do prime minister, please finish chief minister also. So in this parallelly, if you try to complete a lot of things, you'll be able to save a lot of time. When you are learning about state information commission, central information commission should be there. So like that, the state counterparts, you should learn it together and know which are constitutional bodies, which are executive bodies, and which are statutory bodies. Have a clear idea about it. So this is about polity. Can you please talk about your optional? Well, optional, I think we can talk about it later because there'll be people from other optionals also here. My optional was PubMed. How to study a part of UPSC which is from that? I'm not able to understand your question, Kishore. How to study a part of UPSC which is from that history? Not about vision current affairs. Any current affair compilation is just for reference work. It is up to you to any current affairs. If you take ultimately any compilation, they would have come up with the almost 95% of the content will be the same only. So it is up to you. It is up to your choice on which current affairs article should you use. What source links you use for maps, especially state-wise maps? I went for Oxford Atlas. That's it. I'll just sit with the Oxford Atlas. It'll have all the physical features. And the maps I said as the Tiger Reserves maps were there. I'll mark that in the Oxford Atlas map itself, and then I'll learn it. A Samachir book is good or not? I have not used Samachir book. I used only NCERT books, so I have no idea about it. Current affairs, report scheme, where to study. I already said it, Priyanka. Whether to read history NCERTs from 6th. Yes, you have to read NCERTs from 6th standard onwards. No other go. How to prepare for UPSC while working in IT company? I'm going to attend UPSC exam 2021. Give me some tips. There are a lot of people who prepare and work simultaneously. So I will say that it is about you managing your time. Most of them, what they do is they take the newspaper to their workplace, finish the newspaper works there, and spend a lot of time when they are at their home in the mornings and the evenings towards preparing for the GS and other optional papers. So you have to manage your time. You need to be extra efficient. You need to put in at least 4 to 5 hours a day and utilize a lot of time of your weekend. I'm saying this based on what the other toppers have said. I don't have because I prepared full time for this exam. Recently, you show us a website for wildlife study for. Kindly repeat the name of the website. It is NVIS. If you just Google WII NVIS, I'll share it again. WIINVIS.nic.in. You can use that website. Only if you finish our degree, we can. Yes, UPSC's main qualification, you have to complete 21 years of age and you have to have a degree from a recognized university. For modern history, is NCERT enough? Should I do I'll go tell you to go for Spectrum book. You can avoid NCERT for modern history. Actually, NCERT, the Spectrum is I found Spectrum very useful than NCERT. for modern India. You have missed some parts of news and its notes. For that purpose, what we, if you have missed news and notes, you have to go for compilations. No other go. At least don't miss news. Like, please read newspaper every day. That's what I said. What do you see as the areas aspirants go wrong? What are the smart ways to do? The areas where aspirants go wrong is they don't learn what wrong the seniors did. They try to do the same mistakes which the seniors used to do. Please don't repeat it. I said you go for the right source. It is not about multiple sources. It is about learning the same source again and again. That is the mantra for clearing UPSC. This coaching class needs your self-preparation to do. That is completely up to you. If you feel you need some external guidance, if you need some external accountability to keep you going, you need to go for you need to go for coaching institutions. If you're confident enough that you can do it on your own, you can do it. That's a choice for you. How to read NCERT in easy manner? There's no easy way. It's actually NCERTs are easy up till 10th standard. 12th, 11th and 12th they'll be covered extensively. You can use YouTube videos, explanations, everything. Can you share your difficulties when your preparation? What are the solutions you found to work? I spoke a lot about it. Grammar mistakes in English. Please don't worry about grammar mistakes. They don't give that much importance. If you're able to convey things what you know, grammar doesn't matter. How to remember tribal movements and leaders? You can go for Spectrum. It has extensively. You have to remember those things. CSAT, how much questions to attempt? Okay. CSAT is one interesting aspect where time management is very, very important. We all know that CSAT, we need to just qualify with 1/3 of requisite marks. So what you need to do is don't spend too much time on any question beyond 2 minutes. CSAT is one area where you utilize the full 2 hours for first reading of the paper itself. So I'll suggest if you're a good reader, go for the comprehension questions. If you are someone who is fast in maths, go for the aptitude questions. But this I've seen CSAT is being used increasingly to eliminate non-serious candidates. So please don't take CSAT lightly. I know a lot of people who scored very well in GS, but they could not clear because they did not do well in CSAT. So CSAT is what the right time management. Know what are your strengths and weaknesses. Practice at least 10 CSAT papers before you go for the main exam. That will itself make you understand where your areas of weaknesses. I've studied Indian polity, 30% NCERT books. I'm planning to conquer in first attempt. Is that necessary? Okay, you can conquer in first attempt if you just follow all the strategies I told you now. Only polity will not do. You have to read a lot of economy and everything. Who was this? Naresh. Tactics about art and culture. Art and culture was my nightmare because I did not spend much time also. I knew there'll be just 2 to 3 questions. So I'll just read the basic books, NCERT. If it comes from it, I'll be like fortunate to have got that question. Else I'll just eliminate. Art and culture, that was my weak area. For mains aspect, it is easier to know art and culture because they'll ask you the analytical part. In UPSC, they'll ask for the what to say knowledge part. You need to remember a lot of things. You can remember to an extent, but they'll go for more details. That is where I used to avoid things. And know about the GI tags which are being given regularly. That will be very important and useful for your prelims. What were the questions asked for your interview? We'll have another discussion about it. I'll probably share my interview transcript. Will the number of arrears be a problem? Not at all. All you need is a degree. Whether you have got arrears or not, they are not going to care about it. How to manage timings in mains? I think mains we cannot discuss now. Sorry. We need a lot of exclusive time for mains. Is 1 year preparation enough? It is not about the amount of time you prepare. It is about the quality of time, the strategies you put in. What happens in the first year is by the time we know this is what we need to prepare and this is what we need to eliminate, 1 year goes off. So please go through toppers videos and their experiences before you prepare. If you do that, you'll be able to eliminate the lot of mistakes toppers had done, and that is where you'll be able to do a better justice. and then say something. Okay. I would say that mains questions, mains test series is very very important. So I joined in Kingmakers for my MSLP program. So Rishabh was guiding me in my preparations during that time. I've cleared mains this year also. I'm going to attend the interview also. So I suggest MSLP is a very good program for you to consider for your mains preparations. They'll give you a unique way of feedback. They'll help you with the best answers. So you will see a very good transformation in your mains answers in that MSLP program. So if you have not yet decided on which mains program to attend for your mains preparations, you can go for MSLP. When to start answer writing? Right now, today, start writing one answer. That's when you'll know where are your weak areas. You will take at least 10 to 20 minutes to finish an answer. But in UPSC, you need to write a 10-mark question in 7 minutes and a 15-mark question in 11 to 12 minutes. You will not get used to this timing unless and otherwise you start writing answers every day. I used to write at least 1 or 2 answers every day. Just some website or book for previous year question papers, please. UPSC website might have up to last 3-4 years. I suggest you to go for any question bank. And then how many marks wanted in prelims first paper? Generally 100 to 100, and it depends on the category. Safe is it depends on again the level of difficulty. For example, 2016 prelims, the cutoff jumped to 116 for general category because the paper was more current affairs oriented and more easier. Now you take last year, the cutoff was just 101. I mean 2018, because the paper was a bit tougher. I think for OBC category and all, it went in double digits. So it varies every year. Please don't worry about cutoff. Just give your best in every prelims. Aim for at least 120 to 125 marks. If you are preparing for civil services, if it is forest service, it should be minimum 140 to 145 marks. That should be aimed for, so that you can start your mains preparations with that much certainty. Kindly suggest me an optional. I have taken law as my major. If you're comfortable with law, you can go for law itself, Himya. It is about your choice. You can go through the syllabus of various optional papers, whichever interests you. There's nothing called this is easy optional, that is tough optional. It is all about your interests and the way you can express your opinions for various things. And what to learn from test series, marks if I or law. I already told how to approach test series. Test series is not about attending the test series, it's about following up and identifying your mistakes and ensuring that you don't repeat the same mistakes again and again. Mock test series is a journey. Don't miss even a single test. That is why you have to, that is how you have to do. So about your source of science and technology. My source of science and technology was purely newspaper, and I used to Google and learn the basics. No particular source. Due to this delay time, next 2021 prelims the same schedule, or it may also take some extra time like now. We'll wait for 20th. I don't think there is this thing. I know an insider said, a source said this. There's nothing called insider or outsider in UPSC. Only when UPSC comes out with something, we'll know about it. Till then, we cannot believe in all the speculations and conspiracies, because when UPSC releases its results itself, it's a big thing every day. Only after UPSC releases its results do we know that the results are released. So just don't, as I said, don't even think about things which are not in your control, and just prepare. YouTube channel which you suggest for preparation. And not a particular YouTube channel. It is about just searching for it and getting it. I did not follow a particular channel. NCERT books, from which standard I've told. I think I've addressed all questions. If I apply for exam in general category this year, will I be able to apply it in OBC? Yes, you can. If you get the OBC certificate, you can apply in OBC category. Any website for science and tech current affairs? I said I did not offer any particular website, so you just Google and find it out. When did you start your preparation? I started my preparation during my final year of college. I passed out in 2016. I had started my preparation in 2015, and I got into the service in my third attempt. How many days do you spend for mains exam? I studied for. Don't have this categorization of prelims aspect, mains aspect. Both are the same. You have to go for any news you read, anything you read. You should go for prelims as well as mains aspect. So I cannot categorize it as mains exam preparation or prelims exam preparation. The only thing which you should do after prelims is attending a test series. That will give you direction and that will help you in self-assessment. Can you show your mock answer writing, your way of writing? I think Kingmakers might have some of my answers, and many of them, many have written better answers than me also. You can ask them to share, and not only mine, you can go for other toppers who write answers. All are available in this website called forumias.com. So you'll have all toppers answers. They keep writing regularly blogs also. Kanishak's papers there. Anudeep Durishetty's papers are also there. You can go for all of them. So any other questions? Keep your questions coming. I am done with my part of telling things. Any areas if I have missed, please point it out to me. Please tell me about thoughts, Karthika. I'm not here to take an ethics class or a philosophical class. Sorry, Karthik. Any other questions? Do we need to lead read economic survey ARC reports fully? ARC reports go for the summary of recommendations because ARC is something which is now 15 years old. So I'll say just go for summary of recommendations. Don't read much about it, but some ARC reports can be useful for your preparations regarding governance aspects, self-help groups, things like that, and all very beautifully explained in ARC. You can go for the economic survey. I'll suggest you to go for full reading. But reading, just go through the chapters now because the economy has completely changed in the past 3 to 4 months. So some of the things which economic survey says will not be very useful. Part volume 1 will have a lot of suggestions. They'll come up with new ideas which you can use in your mains answers. Economic survey is not much use for prelims. Then how was your training period? Say something about it. So training is amazing. We are due to the lockdown, we are not having much of outdoor training now, which is the major part of IPS training. Our indoor, as every other educational institution, is going online. Training has been a very transformational experience for me. You can go through YouTube, you'll have a lot of videos about how IPS training goes. Any source to suggest our mains answer evaluation while we practice? Any senior who's when me senior, not probably someone in service, they'll all be busy. Someone who has already given 1 or 2 mains, they'll have an idea on how to help you. Or if you're in an institute, you can go for any of the faculties, they'll all be ready to help you because they all have some experience on how to write an answer. Please do webinar with your personality tests as soon as possible. Yeah, sure. Even I'm also a learner as far as personality test is concerned. Even I'm going for interview this year. So probably we'll do it for sure in the coming days. Is it necessary to read full economic? As I said, volume 1, economic survey of volume 1, you should read it fully, Jyoti Malar, because it contains a lot of fresh ideas. Volume 2 is more about statistics, which you can avoid. You can go only for the gist as far as volume 2 is concerned. How to pass language papers in mains. Language papers is one of the easiest things. I never prepared for it. They'll ask you 10th standard level language only. All you need to do is out of 250 300 marks, you get around 75 to 90 marks. You can easily get it. Let it be English or your regional language. They ask you like my regional language Tamil. Tamil என்ன கேட்பாங்கன்னா presi writing கேட்பாங்க, translation கேட்பாங்க, வாக்கியமாமை கேட்பாங்க. இந்த மாதிரி very simple things தான் கேட்பாங்க. They just need to know whether you have some idea of a regional language. English is even more easier. They'll ask essay, presi writing, comprehension, things like that only. They are very easy to pass. You actually need not go through last 2-3 years papers. You will feel like don't need to prepare to pass this paper. You need to just pass. It is not even taken for your ranking. See, civil services in 2023, how to prepare for current affairs. Reading newspaper is more of a habit than reading it for the sake of exam. You can read newspaper right from now. If you're going to give your civil service only after 2 years, Subha, Arti Subha, you can actually set the groundwork. You can do all the polity, economy parts, understand newspaper very clearly, and do a very detailed approach for your this thing preparation. How to plan the year for 2021 UPSC month-wise schedule coverage. And I think your faculties, your seniors could help. How to contact you for further guidance. Okay, I thought I'll come to it, and then you can contact me through Facebook or Instagram. I'm always available in the social media. So this is my Facebook ID. So this is my Facebook ID. Abhishek Shekhar, or Instagram. I'll be available. You can always give me a message over Facebook or Insta. This is my Instagram ID, abhishek.shekhar. So you can always contact me with any of your doubts. I'm always available. So yeah. How many times have you attempted? As I said, I got into IPS in my third attempt, and now I've given my fourth attempt. I'm going for interview this year. There any possibility to get failed in personality test? Failed in there's nothing called pass or fail specifically in personality test. With personality test, they call at least to double the number of candidates who are required to be recruited. So the whole personality test plus mains is what determines your rank. What we do to maintain spoken English: speak English, read English, nothing else. You need to practice English. English is not a tough language, and they don't test your language skills much in UPSC. So if you're even weak in English, don't even worry about it. How many marks you scored in mains papers? I scored 772 marks in 2000 in mains, and 187 marks in personality test in civil services exam 2018. Any other questions? Anything else to say? So I think there are no questions coming. So we can close the session. You can always message me in my social media. What is the average mark should I take? Marks, don't even worry about it. It keeps varying every year. So it depends on the category. It depends on the toughness of the paper. It depends on how various candidates approach the questions. This year mains GS2 was really tough. It was not the conventional way of asking GS2 mains. So we cannot predict marks. Don't even think about mains marks. So yeah, thank you everyone. It was great to hear all your questions, and I hope I cleared. I again say you, toppers talks, toppers experience is more of experience sharing. It is not that whatever I did you should do. It is about getting their ideas and see how far you can implement them into your plans. If you're not able to do it, take my speech as a pinch of salt and just move on. It is not that whatever I did will work out for you. And stay motivated. And it was, which will you get posting in Tamil Nadu cadre? No, I have been posted to Himachal Pradesh cadre. And what I'll say is keep reading a lot of books. I used to read at least one book every month, just half an hour to 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. That was my hobby. Someone might have some musical instrument as their hobby or something like that. You can continue that. And I'll say health is the most important thing in your UPSC preparation, especially in these scenarios where we can get easily affected with a pandemic that is happening. So you should be very, very careful with your health, and do a lot of physical exercises, have some meditation or things like that. Maintaining your mental health when you're completely in your home for throughout the day, it is something very, very important. Keep yourself motivated. Talk with a lot of your friends, your family members. Never miss your social life. That will what will keep asking. That's what I'll keep telling you. That is not a great sacrifice you're going to make. It's just about ensuring that you spend a lot of time for preparation. Then completely sacrificing. I'll tell you, go attend all family functions. If they ask, tell them very proudly that I am aspiring for a career in civil services and I'm preparing for it. If the confidence with which you say will make them not ask any further questions about it. So that is how we have to approach life. When I remember the famous quote of Sachin Tendulkar here: when stones are thrown at you, convert them into milestones. So yeah, so I'd end with one of my favorite Thirukkurals is Ulluvadellam Uyar Ullan. So keep your thoughts high, keep your thoughts long. Even there's always hope only when you have your thoughts strong and positive. I did the fumble in the prelims in my first attempt. My second attempt I failed in mains. In the third attempt I went to interview and cleared it. So this is the journey. When I look back, I thought this could have been done in the first attempt itself had I done the right strategies, which I did not do in my first attempt. So I learned it on my own. I did not go seek the necessary guidance. So you have to keep going on that very well. Keep yourself motivated. You can always talk to me in social media. I'm always there for anything. So I think I can close the session, and you can go for any help. I thank Kingmakers IAS Academy again for giving me this opportunity to talk with about more than 200 people who are present today on your Sunday. But there's no Sunday or Monday difference in this lockdown. But still, stay safe, stay happy, and be socially responsible in these critical times. That is what I would like to say, everyone. So thank you.